Today, I'm going to talk about the one most powerful thing to help you to love yourself. Now, before we start, what do we even mean by love yourself? Because that expression can be used in all kinds of ways. You know, you come across a person who has lots of airs and graces and so on, and people say, oh God, he loves himself, doesn't he? But actually, that's someone who doesn't love themselves. That's someone who's trying to tell everybody how wonderful they are in the hope that everybody's going to like them. And then that way, somehow, maybe if everybody else likes them, then they'll be able to love themselves. Well, we know that one doesn't work, but we've seen it plenty of times, and maybe we might have done it ourselves a few times. To be honest with you, I know I have. So, okay, we've all been there. Now, loving yourself. What is that? Is genuinely loving yourself, and loving yourself, interestingly, is your default position when you come into this world. When you're a little baby, you love yourself. Babies are full of love. We all want to love babies because they give so much love, and they love themselves and they love you, and you want to love them, and their whole world is all about love. So then things start to go wrong. And why do they go wrong? It all comes down to one word: control. Governments want to control you, teachers want to control you, parents want to control you, elder siblings want to control you, bullies definitely want to control you. And so in order to control you, what do they do? They give you a hard time. Now, but they have to justify it in their heads. So when they're giving you a hard time, they tell the story they have going on in there is they're giving you a hard time because you deserve it, because you're wrong. And so that way, bizarrely, although they are giving you the hard time, in their heads, they're the good guy, right? They are sorting out you, the bad guy. Now, are they going to forgive you? Absolutely not. They want you to remain unforgiven so that they can remain the good guy, they can remain controlling you, and they can remain giving you a hard time. That's their justification. Now, that's pretty unpleasant in itself, and we've all kind of been there at some time or another. But the worst payoff is the fact that we feel unforgivable. And if we are unforgivable, we are unworthy of love. And so that's why we find that difficulty in loving ourselves. And loving ourselves is what we want to be at. And I'm going to get around to where we find that, by the way. Because when you do genuinely love yourself, you've seen people who are like that, haven't you? You've seen people who do genuinely love themselves. They're so lovely to be around. They're the person you want to be. They're the person you want to hang out with. They're kind of in a state of grace. They're so easy to be with. You automatically just find that you want to love that person. You feel that feeling for them because of how they feel about themselves. And because they love themselves so easily, they've got plenty of love left over for you. And you just want to bathe in that and bask in that feeling that you get from that person. And we all want to be that guy. Okay, so how do we get there? Well, we're going to get there by learning to forgive, learning that we aren't unforgivable, learning that we can forgive ourselves. And by the way, all the great religions are saying, we should sort of forgive others and so on. Well, don't worry, that'll come along all by itself. That's not the big deal. The big deal, the important deal, what this is all about is forgiving ourselves. That's where it's at. Okay, so why should we forgive ourselves? Because even as I'm talking to you right now, I guarantee there are thoughts that are flipping into your mind right now. That time when I said, that time when I did that time when I didn't say that time I forgot to do that, and how can I ever forgive myself for the time when, every single person on this planet, this is the good news, but every single person on this planet has a whole list of those things. Because as Mark Twain put it, A man who never makes a mistake never made anything, right? So we've all got a whole slew of those things. You and everybody else. So what can we do? Forgive ourselves for those things, because guess what? Everybody else has got those things. That's part of living in this rather imperfect world. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to forgive ourselves because, like everybody else on the planet, we did the best that we knew how at the time. Actually, even those people who gave you a hard time and bullied you and did all their best to control you, actually, they were doing the best they knew how at the time. And that's the important bit, the best that we know how. And we're all the time we're doing that. Actually, I'm doing the best I know how right now. I'm doing the best I can. We're all doing that. And that's all we've ever done. So when we mess up and when things don't work out, hey, give yourself a break. So we're going to look at that a little more closely. And what I suggest to you is this. Pick a moment. Pick a moment, a quiet moment, turn your phone off, all that kind of stuff. And maybe if the room's a little dark, might be a good idea. You've got some privacy time, some time to yourself when there's just you and yourself to deal with and no one else. And no one else matters. And in that time, to go through a gentle, slow relaxation routine, maybe counting down to 5 and relaxing yourself as you go. And by the way, if when you're doing that you feel embarrassed, if you're doing that and you think, oh God, I'm just doing what this guy told me to do in the video and I shouldn't really be doing it, it's just a kind of, what is all this kind of technique anyway? All those kind of crazy thoughts. Why am I doing this nonsense? Blah, 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 blah. That's all just the mental chatter. That's just all the embarrassment, the fear, the uncomfortable, all that kind of rubbish. We all get that, And if it happens, just accept it. It's okay. Those thoughts will go on, and allow them in, allow them out. Think of your mind as like a bird cage with an exit and an entrance, 2 holes. These funny thoughts can fly in just as easily. They can fly out. Don't worry about them. Okay, we calm down. We get ourselves into this kind of a relaxed state. And then we're a lot more in touch with how we feel. And when you're in that position, I want you to say, I forgive you. Yeah. And again, if thoughts pop into your mind, notice that thought, be aware of that thought, say, yeah, boy, did I mess up that time. But guess what? I forgive you. I got this wrong, I got that wrong. Yeah, I know. And accept that really your forgiveness is more important than anything else. Somebody else said something and they never forgave you. That's not your problem. That's their problem. That's their issue. All you need is to forgive yourself, and forgive yourself for your part as well. So you did something, somebody else did something, or somebody did something, you responded to them with something, what. You only need to forgive yourself, and you only need to forgive yourself for your part, even if your part was just anger and resentment. That's all. That's all you've got to be concerned with. Nobody else. Use your name like Tim. I forgive you. I forgive you, Tim, for what you did. And I know you did the best. I know you did the best that you knew how. And that's fair enough. It's fair enough in your book. It's fair enough in anybody's book. You did the best you knew how. Tim, I forgive you. Obviously, you're going to substitute your name in there. Okay, great. We got that one down. So this what's so great about this, and we're really coming to the end now. What's so great about this is that when you're able to forgive yourself, you go back to your default position, and your default position is loving yourself. You don't have to try to love yourself. Don't have to set out to love yourself. It's actually automatic to love yourself. And all you've been doing, when under this illusion of needing forgiveness, all you've been doing is holding yourself back from doing what you naturally are programmed to do. So when we forgive ourselves and we let go of this stuff, we're left with love. And next, I have a special gift for you. A song that I wrote called Easy Love, related exactly to what we've been discussing today. Make sure to hit the like, make sure to hit subscribe, and please leave your comments because they're going to be the subject of my next video. Easy like a sea of Sunday papers, easy like a rockaway night in June, easy like favorite shoes, easy like moonlight in Vermont, easy like tea drunk out of my favorite cup. Ooh, you were such an easy love, an easy lover, such an easy love, an easy love. You're such an easy lover. Kiss and hold me like I told you to. I wanna kiss and hold you too, yeah. Oh, 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 yeah. Easy like dancing close to Marvin. Easy like kisses meant to last. Easy, not too fast. Easy, 'cause all we gotta do is put our hands together and make our own luck. Ooh, you're such an easy love, easy lover. You're such an easy love, an easy love. You're such an easy lover. Oh, yeah. Now kiss and hold me like I told you to. I wanna kiss and hold you too. Oh, baby, you make me feel so fine. You know you make me wanna break down and cry. You're such an easy love, an easy lover. You're such an easy love, an easy love. You're such an easy lover. Kiss and hold me like I told you to. I wanna kiss and hold you too. Oh, baby, you make me feel so fine. You know you make me wanna break down and cry. Oh, baby, you took one look and you read me like an open book. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. You're such an easy love.